97% of British households buy sliced bread every single week. But only one brand on supermarket shelves is actually real bread. The rest are made using an industrial process that no baker before 1961 would recognize. A process that replaced centuries of natural fermentation with high-speed machines, chemical additives, and a production time so fast it should worry you. 3.5 hours. That's how long it takes to make your loaf. Real bread takes 18 to 24. And the brand you think is the healthiest option on this entire list, the one with sourdough on the label, the one that looks like it came from a proper bakery, that one might be the biggest lie of all. Before we rank anything, you need to understand one thing. In 1961, scientists in a Hertfordshire village called Chorleywood invented a process that killed real bread in Britain, the Chorleywood bread process. Before 1961, bread was flour, water, salt, yeast, and thyme. Dough fermented for hours, sometimes overnight. That slow fermentation gave bread its flavor, its texture, its nutrition. This new process replaced all of that with high-speed mechanical mixing, chemical oxidizing agents, emulsifiers, and enormous quantities of water. By 1970, 80% of all bread in Britain used this process. That number hasn't changed. Nearly half your loaf by weight is water. You're paying bread prices for water held together by chemistry. So we've gone through every major bread brand currently sold in UK supermarkets, and we'll expose the 8 products you need to avoid. Then there's a twist you genuinely won't see coming. And after that, I'll tell you the 3 brands that are actually still real bread. But before we get into it, if this kind of investigation matters to you, hit that subscribe button, and especially the like button. Because every like pushes this to more people who deserve to know what's really in their shopping baskets. These companies are counting on you never reading the label. When enough people know the truth, they'll have no choice but to change. Let's get into it. Number 8. Roberts Bakery Soft White. Roberts has been baking since 1887. That's the story they sell. Family bakery, traditional values, over a century of craft. Beautiful marketing. The reality is that Roberts switched to the Chorleywood bread process decades ago. The ingredients list includes emulsifiers, palm oil, and the same industrial shortcuts as every other factory loaf on this shelf. Palm oil deserves its own mention. It's the cheapest fat available to industrial bakers, and it's there because CBP requires added fat to lubricate the dough during high-speed mixing. Traditional bread doesn't need added fat at all. Flour, water, salt, yeast, that's it. Roberts adds fat because the process demands it, not because your bread benefits from it. And that palm oil carries its own environmental baggage that Roberts doesn't mention on the label. 1887 means nothing when the process that made them trustworthy was abandoned a generation ago. You're buying a date on the packaging, not quality in the bread. Number 7. Asda Soft White Medium. Asda's own brand white bread follows the exact CBP formula. Flour, water, yeast, emulsifiers, preservatives. But here's what makes it worse. UK food law allows manufacturers to use what are called processing aids, enzymes added during production that technically don't need to appear on the ingredients list. They're classified as processing aids rather than ingredients, so they vanish from the label entirely. You can't see them, you can't avoid them, you don't even know they're there. These enzymes include transglutaminase, amylase, and lipase. They modify the dough structure, improve gas retention, and make the bread look bigger than its actual flour content should allow. It's engineering, and you're not told about any of it. Asda's bread costs less because it's made in 3.5 hours with ingredients you're never told about. The low price makes perfect sense once you understand the system behind it. Cheap isn't value. Cheap is what you get when every possible shortcut has already been taken. Number 6. Tesco Soft Medium Sliced White. Same process, same additives. E471 and E472E as emulsifiers. The cheapest loaf on the shelf because the production time is the shortest. 3.5 hours versus the 18 to 24 hours that real bread requires. But Tesco adds something else. Their bread uses the CBP's signature trick of adding extra water, then using emulsifiers to stop that water from leaking out before you buy it. The loaf weighs what it weighs partly because of water you're paying for at bread prices. When you toast Tesco's white bread, notice how it collapses under butter. That's not bread structure. That's air and water held together by emulsifiers giving way to heat. Real bread holds its shape because slow fermentation built actual gluten networks over hours. CBP bread holds its shape until heat exposes the illusion. And consider this, Tesco sells roughly 1.3 million loaves of own-brand bread every single week. That's 1.3 million loaves of industrial dough product leaving their shelves. The scale of the deception is breathtaking. Number 5. Allinson's wholemeal seeded. This one's clever. Allinson's markets itself as the healthier, more natural choice. Seeds on the crust, wholemeal flour. The packaging practically whispers artisan bakery. But Allinson's is owned by Allied Bakeries, the same company that makes Kingsmill. Same factories, same Chorleywood process, same industrial shortcuts. The seeds are cosmetic. The wholemeal flour goes through the same high-speed mechanical mixing that strips out the benefits of slow fermentation. Here's what most people don't realize about wholemeal CBP bread. When wholemeal flour is processed at Chorleywood speed, the bran particles actually